Bike Life gang, how's it going? So today we're going to talk about why you shouldn't get a KTM 690 SMC R. Alright guys, so there can be many reasons why you shouldn't get a 690, and that really depends on the rider, what type of riding you want to do, what kind of motorbikes or vehicles you already have. So I don't want to go into that. What I want to do is give you my top 5 reasons why you shouldn't get the 690, and those are more for those riders who basically have already decided that the 690 definitely is a bike they would like to ride, but they want to be aware of a couple of things that they might not have known about. Alright, so reason number 1. You really cannot get this bike if you're too short for it. So it has like 850 millimeter seat height, so 85 centimeters, and that's pretty tall. So if you compare that to like a normal sports bike, that's very tall. If you compare it to the typical adventure touring bikes, that's relatively normal. It's always great to have a big fat bus in front of you. Anyway, so yeah, if your legs aren't long enough, it's always just half the fun, right? Because you're gonna be tippy-toeing around and it's just not that nice. So I'm 191 centimeters, so 1 meter 91 centimeters, and for me the bike is almost a little bit too small or too short in terms of the seat height, at least compared to the enduros that I'm used to. So of course 850 millimeters, still quite high, but for me it could be a little bit higher, but I'm quite a tall dude, so I'd say anything below, if you're anywhere below 1 meter and 80 centimeters, it probably starts getting pretty tight. So definitely go and sit on the bike before you buy it. Alright, so that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 why you should not get the 690 is because, man, it's an expensive bike. Like, oh, wrong gear. Maybe that's another reason why you shouldn't get it. It doesn't have a freaking gear indicator or anything other than your speed. It's like the least useful speedometer I've seen. Alright, let's see if we can skip here. Hopefully not get in trouble. Anyone coming here? We're good. Okay, so reason number 2 was it's an expensive bike. And that starts with a buying price. So I got this one, the 2020 model. I got it when the 2021 models just came out, and for just the bike stock but brand new, I paid like 9.5k euros, and I bought it in Germany, so just as a reference. But that's definitely a pretty high price. I mean, if you think about, for example, the KTM 390 Adventure, I think you can get that brand new for like half the price or less even. It's like 4k or maybe 5k. So this is an expensive bike to buy, but that's not where it ends. One of the things that I've noticed with this bike is, like, every time you need to do something or you want to do something with it, it is really expensive. So let's just first of all start with the things that are necessary, right? So let's enjoy that sound first. So the things that are necessary: tire changes, oil changes, taking it to the service. It is really expensive. So I just did a tire change for my back tire for the season, didn't even touch the front tire, and I took it to the KTM dealership for that, because I let them do everything so that my warranty doesn't, so that I don't lose my warranty, because that's another thing with these bikes. As soon as you do something yourself, there's a risk that you lose the warranty, which is also, I think, like, it's really not that great. But anyway, I did the I did the tire change, and including the tire and the working hours and everything, that was like 250 euros for changing a tire, a freaking tire. So I never know if YouTube's gonna block me for swearing. But anyway, 250, that's really a lot of money for just changing a tire. Then after the first 1,000 kilometers, the service that they did, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was definitely very expensive and more than 250. I think it was like 330 that I paid for that. I'm pretty sure it was around that number, so around 300 euros. Now when I did that, I had a friend who did it at the same time with the same bike but in a different city, and he paid like $100 less. So I don't know, maybe it's my dealership. I have no idea. But yeah, it's definitely expensive still. So that's the things that you have to do with it. They're gonna cost you money, that's for sure. Like, that's number one. But number two is, what about the things you want to change? So any, you know, additional things you buy for it. And I've done a lot of things. By the way, guys, if you want me to do a video on the mods that I have on the bike and everything I changed, let me know in the comments, because I have no idea right now what you guys want to see. So let me know, and then I can do a video about that if you want to know more about that. But yeah, essentially all these little parts, right? These were the cheapest ones actually. So the KTM ones are the cheapest ones. They're like the SMC project ones that are really nice, but also quite a bit more expensive. So I think for these, that's already like 30 or 40 bucks just for that thing. So yeah, you're gonna spend a lot of money on parts. I mean, do you have to buy that? No. So of course that's up to you, right? But in general, there's a lot of choice. Luckily, you can do a lot. But it also costs a lot of money, especially if you want it to be street legal, and especially if you want it to be street legal in Europe, which is always difficult. Alright, so expensive, that was reason number two. Reason number three why you shouldn't get the 690. I think you shouldn't get it if you're looking for a comfortable ride. And what do I mean with a comfortable ride? So, you know, there are sports bikes, and I think they are more comfortable than the 690. Like, those are made for racing essentially, but they are more comfortable than the 690. So with this bike, after half an hour of riding, I've been on it now for an hour roughly, and I got the Powerparts seat, which by the way is a great example. Also 220 euros for the Powerparts seat. And basically you have to get that, or you have to get the seat concept seat, which I think is, you can get that in the US but not so easily in Europe. But anyway, that's another 200 euros, and you can't really live without that, because the bike is that uncomfortable. But can I? No, I can't go here. Okay, never mind. I've never been here before, guys, so I'm actually checking this out for the first time. So the seat is really uncomfortable, but it's not just that, because the bike really, it's, I think, made, it has this enduro type of, or motocross type of style, right? And that makes sense because it's a supermoto, and I just don't think that they're just not made for longer tours or for being comfortable on them. They're really made so you can move around on them, and you can get into the positions that you need to be, and it's more a practical thing than anything else. Does that mean you can't do any tours? No, not at all. I mean, I'm actually someone who does a lot of tours on this bike, but I just accept the fact that my ass really hurts when I do it. So I've gone from Germany all the way to the Italian Alps, crossed them, and came back to Germany in like within 8 days, and doing all of that on this bike. So it is doable, but your ass will hurt, just know that. There's no doubt. Yeah, so that's reason number 3. It is not comfortable. Reason number 4 why you should not get this bike. But let's first pull a wheelie if we can manage. Don't want to screw with these people. But yeah, reason number 4 why you shouldn't get this bike. If you want to get a supermoto, and you know you're gonna do, like, supermoto is your thing, right? And that's all you want to do. You don't want to do any longer tours. All you want to do is really tight twisties and a lot of stunting, like wheelies, stoppies. That's the main thing you want to do. Then I wouldn't recommend this bike, because it's sort of, this bike is great if you want the best of both worlds. So you want a full-on supermoto, but you still want to do a little bit of distance. You still want to be able to maybe commute on it, all those kinds of things. But if you want just a pure supermoto, then it's not the best bike. And the reason for that is, A, it's a lot more heavy than a real supermoto. So for example, a KTM EXC that you transform into a supermoto, those are like 125 EXC that I used to ride, 95 kilograms and has 30 horsepower. So that really weighs nothing. Like, the power to weight ratio on them is insane. With a 450 EXC, that's even crazier. They used to weigh like 120 kilograms, and they have like 50 horsepower. So compare that to this one, has 75 horsepower and weighs 160 kilograms. So it's still a crazy power to weight ratio, but 160 kilograms compared to 100, that's a lot of extra weight. So, you know, if you're going to do a lot of stunting, then it's a lot easier to do that on a real supermoto. All right, that's that. Haha, man, this bike, I love it, guys. All right, the last reason why you should not get the 690. Oh yeah, guys, so this is why we go and explore. I think we just found another spot. Look at that. So this is already people doing some drifts here. Perfect. So we can practice some more wheelies. Oh man, this place looks perfect. Alright, we're really starting to get distracted here. Well, let's pull a wheelie, come on guys. And stoppy. Nice. All right. Last reason, now for real, guys, why you should not get this bike. I think the 690 has one major issue, and that is it's kind of dying out as a species. So if you want a bike that you can take with you with your friends to do what they do, then that can be really difficult with the 690. If you have a group of friends that is riding supermotos, of course, then it's no problem, right? But even then, if they're riding these real EXC type supermotos that we're talking about before, then you're the one actually that's the least agile, right? And that can't really do all the things that they are doing. Now, on the flip side, if you have friends that are riding big touring bikes, or they're riding Harleys, or they're riding sports bikes, then again, it's kind of difficult because you don't have that top speed that they have, and it can be difficult to, with a touring bike, you know, it would be really hard to keep up on the long distances, especially on the highway. You don't really go fast with this, so it can be difficult to kind of fit into the regular riding groups, I guess. And so that's something that you should consider, because at the end of the day, what we all like the most is to ride with our friends. So whether you like it or not, that what your friends ride should be part of the decision of what you ride, or at least that's what I think. And this one definitely is a very rare type of bike. I mean, there's only the 690 and the 701, they're like this, and there's no other bike like it out there, really. And that's why it can be difficult. So that's that, guys. Those are my top 5 reasons why you shouldn't get this bike. I'm sure some of it you already knew, maybe some things you didn't know. Hope it helped you out. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to subscribe and leave comments, leave likes, leave some love for me. I'm trying to bring out this content as regularly as possible now, putting a lot of effort into it, and I would just appreciate if you guys could give me any sort of feedback, so I know whether it's even helping anyone. All right, take care, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.